world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey, all you beautiful movie-loving people out there, live from a red carpet somewhere, surrounded by celebrities. This is the Movies Merica podcast with Van Ebert, where movie reviews meet cold brews. Van will review your favorite and maybe not so favorite movies while enjoying some ice-cold beers and saying cheers. Now let's head into the theater and join our illustrious movie reviewer du jour, who's no doubt got the beer ready to pour, Van Ebert. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Oh, hey, hi, how you doing there? Sorry, you kind of caught me in the middle of something. Okay, anyway, hey everyone, hey, it's your Yuletide friend Van Ebert here with Movies Merica podcast. All right, I hope you're nestled by the fireplace, the bearskin rug, chestnuts roasting. You know, you've got your Christmas tree up. You're thinking of the Christmas season, and if you're not, well, you're about to, because we're about to go over Christmas Vacation.
'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
After vacationing across America and throughout Europe,
Take it, Russ.
this holiday season, the Griswolds are going to play it safe.
Clark, we're stuck under a truck.
Oops. They're staying at home.
I give you the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Hope you're not getting sap all over your sweater, Clark.
All Clark wants is a quiet, old-fashioned Christmas.
Sorry. Got a little knot here. You can work on that.
What he's going to get is the gift that keeps on living.
Merry Christmas.
His family.
We didn't come to impose.
Oh, hell, there's plenty of room.
Do you sleep with your brother? Do you know how sick and twisted that is, Mom? Well, I'm sleeping with your father.
Have you got a kiss for me?
You better take a rain check on that, Art. He's got lip fungus they ain't identified yet.
But no holiday could ever be more deeply touching.
We were gonna call, but Eddie wanted to make it a surprise.
If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
Trailers from back in yesteryear. They seem so innocent nowadays, but fortunately that trailer didn't have the classic voiceover artist Don LaFontaine there doing that, but that was still a good trailer nonetheless. But yeah, everybody, I know. I realize Christmas Vacation didn't just come out. I know it's been out for 32 years now. I think a couple years ago they had the 30-year anniversary with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. But it's kind of a slow movie week, and we are in the Christmas season, and Christmas Vacation is just one of my all-time favorites. It's like, if I had a Louvre museum of Christmas movies, Christmas Vacation would be the prime exhibit. It would be like the Mona Lisa of Christmas movies, so it would be in there like Home Alone and Elf, other movies like that. Of course, Die Hard, is a whole Christmas movie in and of itself. And yes, it is a Christmas movie. I don't care what you say, Bruce Willis. But anyway, before we get too far into the mistletoe, I just want to say thank you for listening to Movies Merica. And Movies Merica is on your podcast listening platform of choice. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcast, please feel free to give it a 5-star rating if you so desire. If you're feeling friendly, it's the giving season. So, feel free to, make me your Salvation Army. Forget that little stupid plastic red bucket anyway. Hey, Give me your charity. How about a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts? Maybe a nice little review, on there. The review, it doesn't have to be anything long. Hey, just put something on there like you rock or you suck. Well, maybe not that latter one. And the podcast is also on moviesmerica.com. There are some podcasts on moviesmerica.com that you won't find on any of the platforms. And also I'm on Twitter and Instagram under Movies Merica. And you can go out there if you want to share anything with me. If you want some gift ideas, if you want to give me some gift ideas for Christmas, if you want to tell me about lousy Christmas presents you got, tell me about your favorite Christmas movie, your worst Christmas movie, whatever. If you say reindeer games, I think my fist is literally going to come out of your computer and punch you right in the face. And also I've got... sometimes I do open rooms in Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse here. If you don't know, those are like social audio sites where a bunch of people can all get together and talk about whatever topic that you want there online. Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse, so you can hear each other. You're not just messaging each other. You're hearing each other. And sometimes I get on there. I open up a room about movies. And that I do that sometimes on Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse, so you can check Twitter and Instagram under Movies Merica to see that. And typically, I should warn you, typically my podcasts are spoiler free. This one will be quite the opposite, folks. You've had 32 years to see Christmas Vacation. I think you've had your chance. Okay, the time has passed. The time is way past nigh. So this will be a podcast that is chock full of spoilers, like fruitcake is just full and chock full of just all things nasty. So this is going to be the fruitcake of Okay, maybe I shouldn't put it that way. No one's going to listen. Anyway, so yeah, I will be throwing some spoilers in here, some 32-year-old spoilers into this review of Christmas Vacation, okay? And now, typically, I do drink a beer on my podcast, but since we're doing a Christmas movie here today, I'm going to be rocking the eggnog. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be the eggnog hog today. I'm rocking the eggnog, and it's quite delicious. It's creamy. It's got that creamy goodness, and so I will be washing down my palate with that here today as we delve into Christmas Vacation. Okay, let's get right into this bad boy. What do you say? Okay, so Christmas Vacation, as I'm sure most of you know, we had the original Vacation movie in 1983, directed by the late, great Harold Ramis, written by John Hughes, starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Anthony Michael Hall as Rusty, before everyone knew him as Anthony Michael Hall, well before Breakfast Club and 16 Candles and the rest, right? And Weird Science. Dana Barron, nobody really knew who she was. She didn't really do much after that, except for I think she was on that TV series. What's the one with the witches there? It had Alyssa Milano. Charmed. That's it. I think she was on that show there. And Randy Quaid, of course, as Cousin Eddie. Christy Brinkley in the Ferrari, all that, right? So that was 1983. That movie is also a classic. And so then we had the Abomination sequel to Vacation known as European Vacation. I know a lot of people that like that movie. I don't know why. I think that was just trying to be nice here. It's just a cash grab, and they had to make it because Vacation was a big hit, and they're like, well, where do we go next? We can't just do another cross-country trip in America. We got to do Europe. So they did European Vacation. That movie stunk like Cousin Eddie's old shoes, okay? But then they totally redeemed themselves, to quote Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber. And they did this little ditty we all know and love, known as Christmas Vacation, okay? So Christmas Vacation, that came out in 1989, and it's got, I mean, it's just a story that a lot of families can relate to, right? You've got your beloved kids, your adoring wife. You're just trying to provide the perfect Christmas for your kids, before you know it, they're going to be grown up and out of the house and in college and hating you. So you got to, provide them great Christmas memories while they're, young and adorable, and they still run down the stairs to see what Santa brought them under the tree, right? So Clark Griswold, just like he tried to provide the perfect Wally World vacation in the first movie, he's trying to provide the great perfect Christmas holiday that he had when he was a kid. And there's a scene in this movie, as I'm sure you remember, where he gets locked up in the attic and he's watching old movies of him as a kid and old Christmas time, and he's getting all sentimental. And that's right before his wife opens up the attic door, and he drops like a rock in that scene. But yeah, so he's just trying to do that, and then of course you've got the in-laws, that show up. There's that kind of trope, in the movies where typically the in-laws are hated and you can't stand them, and you get your family all coming all together, to quote unquote bond as one during the holiday season. And so this is pretty much the premise of the movie, as you all know. He's trying to provide that perfect Christmas, and then of course Cousin Eddie shows up, unexpectedly, with his crappy Winnebago RV, and he's unloading, he's emptying his shitter, out there, which, by the way, I had to look this up. Emptying the shitter in this movie actually violates Winnebago County Ordinance 86-31. So, in case you were wondering about the ordinance that Cousin Eddie was violating in emptying out his this human waste there, that would definitely be it. Now, of course, he wasn't as bad as when in real life, when the bus driver for Dave Matthews Band decided to dump 800 pounds of human waste into the Chicago River while driving over a bridge in Chicago. Nonetheless, and not only dumped 800 pounds of waste, he dumped it right on a boat full of people, drenched them all in 800 pounds of human waste, and they were on an architectural tour. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be an architectural tour they will never soon forget. But so yeah, that's Cousin Eddie shows up out of nowhere and lends his comedic chops to the proceedings there. But this movie, I've seen it. I think it's safe to say I've probably barely drank more cans of beer than I've seen this movie. This movie is just appointment watching every Christmas season, and it's there's still parts of it that make me laugh here. We've got the squirrel chase in the movie. I mean, just the old lady is like, what's that sound? Can't you hear? It's like a clicking sound, when her husband's like, you couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant, just some of that great John Hughes writing in the movie. And then, of course, when Clark is in the department store and he's in the lingerie section, that's one of the classic scenes right there.
Can I show you something?
I was just smiling. I was just browsing.
For your wife or your girlfriend?
What? What happened? Woof. I guess wouldn't be any. Wouldn't be the Christmas shopping season if the stores were any less harder than they are. Whew, it is warm in here.
Well, you have your coat on.
Yes. Oh, do I? How did that happen?
Because it's cold out.
Yes. Yes. It is a bit nipply out. I mean nippy out.
Yeah, I don't know if that scene gets made anymore today in today's movies. That might be a relic of a bygone era, but I still like that scene. It's pretty hilarious. And interestingly enough, the actress that played Mary, the lingerie saleswoman right there, that he was flirting with, her name is Nicolette Scorsese. And just a little useless trivia for you. She once dated Sean Penn, and even though her last name is Scorsese, she is by no means, no way, she is not related to Martin Scorsese at all. But yeah, that was her. That was her one big role right there. She never really, unfortunately, did much after that, but it was definitely a memorable role, nonetheless, particularly for us men. Anyway, okay, so. But, this movie, it's got just all kinds of, it got heartwarming scenes in it too, like I was mentioning. He's locked up in the attic. He's watching, the old home movies there on the projector about old Christmas and that kind of thing. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, it got a happy ending and Christmas is saved and he gets his bonus check and he can get the in-ground pool, of course. I mean, so there's heartwarming moments in this. Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie, he knocks it out of the park, as that character, just like he did in the first movie. Of course, when he rolls up, in the RV there, he's got the RV parked out front, which of course horrifies his Clark's yuppie neighbors there. There's yuppie stuck-up neighbors there. One of which is played by, as well we know, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who later on, found really big fame as Elaine on Seinfeld, and then later on Veep on HBO, and then before that she was on Saturday Night Live for about 13 seconds. And then her stuck-up husband in that movie was played by Nicholas Guest, who is the younger brother of Christopher Guest, who was also on Saturday Night Live for a lot longer, a lot more famous for Saturday Night Live, and directed all the a bunch of movies there. Married to Jamie Lee Curtis, of all people. But I like how in this movie, that uppity couple, tends to be the poor butt of Clark's destruction. Like when he's putting up the lights and. He knocks, the eaves, out of whack, and then, the big ice block shoots out of the eaves into, the stuck-up neighbor's, window and takes out their stereo system. And the best one is the squirrel scene where they're chasing the squirrel around the house, and Clark is trying to drive the squirrel out of the house as Snots the dog is chasing the squirrel and tearing the holy hell out of the Griswold home. And, of course, Clark opens up the front door as Julia Louis-Dreyfus, as Margot is storming up to the door to give Clark a piece of her mind. And he opens up the front door. There's Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and incoming! Here comes the squirrel and Snots the dog. Yeah, they land on her like a 747 on a tarmac. That was that was a funny scene, and there's just all kinds of funny scenes like that. I another thing I like in the squirrel scene is where they're sneaking back into the living room there by the Christmas tree, and he's got the coat. He's gonna throw it on the squirrel and knock the squirrel out with a hammer, and he walks in the living room, and his mom, played by Diane Ladd, is like, "Is he gone? Is the squirrel gone?" And he's like, probably got scared and went back to the Christmas tree. And then all of a sudden, Clark Griswold's dad's like, "Squirrel!" And Clark Griswold knocks his mom without even thinking about it, into the couch. He's so scared out of his mind. So that was a great scene there that is one of the more famous scenes in pretty much any movie there, much less Christmas movies. And then, of course, the sledding scene there where he's putting on the heavy duty lubricant or the sliding gel or whatever you want to call that on the sled, and he's going like Mach 3 with his hair on fire down the hill on his snow disc there. Just all kinds of good moments there. Of course, the Christmas lights scene as well. That took place where they he's using so many kilowatts of power that the town had to switch to auxiliary nuclear power there, which if you catch it, when they turn on the auxiliary nuclear power, they spell auxiliary wrong there on the console. So, but just a little mishap with that movie. But this movie, it was a precursor for another famous movie. You might know that Christmas movie by the name of Home Alone. Yes. So Home Alone, the director of the Home Alone, Chris Columbus, he was actually supposed to direct Christmas Vacation, ironically enough, but he just could not stand Chevy Chase, and that's something that Chevy Chase ran into throughout his career, kind of like Bill Murray, where there's a lot of people that just couldn't stand Bill Murray or Chevy Chase. Well, Chris Columbus, the future director of Home Alone, he had done like Adventures in Babysitting and wrote Goonies and Gremlins, and he's basically continuing his director's career. And so he was going to direct Christmas Vacation, but couldn't stand Chevy Chase. But John Hughes, who wrote Christmas Vacation, told Chris Columbus about this other little movie that he was writing or had written that he wanted to do called Home Alone. And that's how Chris Columbus, future director of the first two Harry Potter movies, wound up directing Home Alone. And obviously that's what really launched Chris Columbus into directing superstardom. So he turned out to work out pretty well for him. He didn't have to deal with Chevy Chase, and he got to do one of the biggest box office grossing movies of all time, Home Alone. So yeah, that's that's kind of the connection between Home Alone and Christmas Vacation is John Hughes kind of fused those two movies together. The late great John Hughes, I should say. And so yeah, there's just all kinds of like cool 80s little tidbits of info about Christmas Vacation. Another one that I've always kind of been interested by, and I'm probably the only one that's interested by it, is right after Clark is staring out at the window and he's having his swimming pool fantasy with the lingerie saleswoman on the diving board, and he's going through, he's having his fun with the fantasy, and the little girl that walks into the kitchen nook and interrupts his fantasy there. Well, that little girl, the little actress that plays her, she is the sister of the little girl actress Carrie Henn, who played Newt in the movie Aliens. So that's just a couple of young girl actor sisters that were probably at the height of their acting powers in the 80s. But yeah, it's just kind of some cool trivia there. And it's completely useless, but I think it's kind of cool, but that's just because I'm a big movie cinematic nerd, but yeah, the opening song, to the movie, if you've seen this movie a bunch of times, you know the song. It's got the cartoon opening credits there to the movie, and that song was done by Mavis Staples. And you've got, was it Bing Crosby does, the Hawaiian Christmas song, so what is it? Hula Lupalaka is the right way to say Merry Christmas to you. I'm sure I'm butchering up those lyrics right there. It's like Malikiliki Maka, something like that. All right, so Hakuna Matata. Yeah, I don't know. King's Hawaiian bread. I have no idea what I'm saying right now. But so Bing Crosby's got that. I was about to say classic song, but apparently it's not classic enough for me to know the words to it. But it's classic nonetheless to other people. And so one thing that the power outage scene in this movie reminds me of here, and it probably came from John Hughes. He probably just borrowed this from his other movie, Weird Science, where Chevy Chase is using up so much power that the whole city runs out of power and they have to switch to auxiliary power there. That was just like the scene in Weird Science where they're making the girl with the Barbie doll and creating Kelly LeBrock, and they use so much power that the whole town loses power. That's which auxiliary power. I was like, I thought that was kind of a like, hey, come on, John Hughes, that's kind of a cheat right there. You're stealing from one of your old movies, So, but and then also the actress that plays the ditzy, I think Aunt Beverly, I think is what she was. She's the one that packed the cat, in the gift box there. and then also put like a Jello mold in wrapped up a Jello mold as a Christmas present. So that actress, she was the original voice of Betty Boop. If you're old enough to remember who Betty Boop was, I was not. So, but that was around well before I was around. But yeah, she was the original voice of Betty Boop in I'm gonna guess that's maybe the 30s, 40s, something like that. But yeah, this movie is just a movie that I'm probably gonna watch about 3 more times before the calendar reaches the 25th of December this year, and I'm sure I'll probably do this exact same thing next year. It's just something that it just reminds me of when I was younger. I remember us going and seeing it in the movie theater back in '89. We had a Christmas show at my school, and then me and a bunch of my classmates all ran down to the theater, for the late showing of Christmas Vacation, and checked that out. This movie actually made pretty good money that year and during the Christmas season of 1989. It was only beat by Back to the Future Part 2, which is saying something for a Christmas Vacation. But so thank you for joining me for this little Yuletide trip down memory lane. And yeah, check out Christmas Vacation, and hope you guys all have a great Christmas. I might do another Christmas review before Christmas actually hits there. But again, check me out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Movies Merica, and all right, get yourself some eggnog, but not fruitcake. That's something disgusting.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.